The £100,000 update. Hi, it's Charlie giving you today's video. Now, just a few weeks ago on the 29th of March, so the 29th of March on this channel, if you check it out, I put a video out called How I Plan Out This £100,000 Trade. So I've actually got a screenshot of part of the video at that point. So this was, although it says 2 weeks ago, it's not, it's done it's YouTube. So it was the 29th of March. So if you go into the channel, you can go back and have a watch of this. And I was just watching it back myself, and it was interesting because this is where the euro was at that point at 108.20 and what I was talking about at that point. So do go back and check that out because we are now several weeks on, and the euro didn't roll over and whatever. It has obviously had quite a good run, and I was talking about in that video the 115 zone as a level and beyond. So where are we right now, and let's talk through it. So I'll get the dirty stuff out of the way first of all. So I've talked about this in monetary terms. Don't often do this because I think that it creates, when you start talking about the money, it just creates this. It focuses people on the money when really I spend most of my time telling people to focus on their processes. But I know it's clickbaity and all of that, and now and again people still want to see that sort of stuff. So the P&L on this account here is sitting at, as I speak, Friday morning, just above 40,000. I'm not showing you all the entries or whatever because that's what I do in my trading room, but that's where that is. So at this stage, so it's it's not even halfway there yet, and that's about right really because the euro's sitting at what, just below 114, and so I've got targets going higher than this. So let's delve into that. So I was looking at this 115 area, and I said at the time in that video, well, you never know how the price action is going to be as to how far, where, when you exactly get add-ins in. So I'm well off at the moment. So from considering we're about 130 pips from, all right, 130 pips added on to it's got, there's what's that, 17 lots on this account. Okay, so if I just can I show you that without showing you the open price? No, because it's going to show you the open prices. What I don't want to show you. So anyway, there's 17 lots here on the account at the moment. So 100 pips is another $17,000 on top. So a bit less than that. So on, what was it? So yeah, it just puts it into the 50,000s as far as pounds. So it's well off, but that was never going to be my sole target anyway, the 115 zone. Actually, the target's a lot higher than that. So I can afford to be a little bit laid back and not be too aggressive on the add-ins. So somewhere along here, I've not added in as aggressively as you could. Like I said on the video from March, you can try and map it all out as to where you might add in, but you don't know for certain based on the price. So it's running nicely, but there's still a lot more work to do. And I think it's so what will happen is I don't overly need to be continue adding, because if I'm looking essentially now, well, I was looking at this anyway, I just didn't go through it with you back in March, but closer towards 120. Now that's going to take time, most likely, and so I talked about swaps in that video as well. Swaps aren't a major issue. I think people get really het up by things like that. They're just a cost of doing business. If the euro gets up to there, the swaps will be, I don't know, 5% of the total profit or whatever. So depends on how long it takes, of course. So I'm looking up into this zone up here, closer to 120. Now, I still think that even if we have a little bit of a pop to 115, 116, then we might pull back. And that's where I'll start being able to do more trading in and out as well of this entire trade. So this is the stuff that I'm doing in my trading room with the guys and girls. But yeah, it'll look like something like that. And then, And so there'll be a bit of profit taken along the way. There'll be, pullbacks, and I can get back in and add back in over there and all of that. So that's where all the work comes in on a day-to-day basis, is mapping it all out. As the price actions move around and change, and the fundamentals, everything that goes on there. So that's essentially where I'm at the moment. I trade, 6 accounts. I have my fund accounts as well, and so there's a lot going on. But so overall, yes, it could end up collectively being quite a sizable trade. But you need to have a lot of patience when it comes to trading as well. And I always use the expression of, historically, of just picture yourself being a fisherman. You sat at the side of a river, and you keep throwing your line out and nothing's happening, sort of thing. And you're waiting for that. You might have to get some little tiddlers, get some little fish that come on the end of the line, and you put them back, and then eventually you get that big pike. You have to have the little tiddlers in order to. You have to keep throwing that fishing line out, because you don't know at what point you're going to get the pike. So you keep fishing. And it's the same with trading. You keep trading. You don't stop. And, it'd be lovely if you could cherry pick and say, I'm only going to take the big trades. Well, you don't know what trades are going to be the big trades in advance. You just keep trading, and then they develop over time. I don't know whether this trade is going to continue to develop, or it just gets to the 115, or it rolls over from here, and I end up just getting trading stopped out. But you just keep throwing out the fishing line, and sometimes some of these runs just become big pikes, shall we say. So that's about where I'm at the moment. It's been a nice little run thus far, but again, you need to have patience in trading. So a nice run from when I did that video back then in late March, but you need to have patience. I think the price action is very good. We've had bull flags. There was a bull flag back then, and it's becoming a bit of a pennant right now. So again, on the daily chart, it's an attractive looking chart at the moment, and we are seeing reasonable price action, not just in the euro, but in the likes of the pound dollar here as well. And some of our members were getting in right down here on the pullback a couple of weeks ago. So the price action looks good. We've got golden crosses. We're probably going to see golden crosses coming in on the weekly charts at some point in the next few weeks as well, providing price holds up. So it all looks very encouraging, but it doesn't mean to say that you don't go into a period of sideways, or the next pullback is around the corner. And that's where I think people really struggle with their patience. But just keep thinking of that fisherman. And on that note, have a wonderful Easter weekend. I'll be back next week.